Okay, so next, let's shoot over here to number 2, and let's look at this from the perspective of a CEO. Okay, everything you do needs to be from the perspective of a CEO. Okay, no matter what, look at it that way. Train your head that way. Now that I am the CEO of this company, I'm the CEO of my life, I'm the CEO of my destiny, so on and so forth. Okay, so we need to really look at how we gain that focus through profit growth factors, how we know those profit growth factors. Okay, now this is not a completely new theory with inputs and outputs. Okay, however, it's how it's implemented that matters the most. Okay, so as a CEO, let's look at 2 completely different models. Okay, let's look at how we implement things. Our input is 95% strategic and 5% tactical. Okay, we can have a small input that's completely strategical that kicks out a very large output that creates more cash mid and long term, and some short term. Okay, some short term, but mostly mid and long term. Okay, what did I say? We work ourselves to death almost first quarter, right? Why? Inputs. Okay, smaller inputs, strategic, create third and fourth quarter growth. Okay, we're not so much worried about today. If you're in a business and you need today money, then you need to think about that, because today money's hard. That doesn't come quickly. If you do, you can flip this, but I don't ever suggest doing that, because we want to plan for the long game. Okay, what are the statistics? Who knows the statistics? I think it's as of not too long ago, it was like 93% of small businesses, they fail between year 1 and 5. Okay, that's not my number. That's Small Business Administration number. Okay, so we have to be cognizant of this as a business and know how we strategically plan every piece and part of what we do. Okay, so that's where this formula here, it may not create tons of today money. Okay, but it's going to create sustainable long-term business, which is what we should all be looking for. Okay, sometimes we got to go through that little hard punch in the face in the beginning. We all did it. I did it. I mean, I shoestring budgeted my first 2 or 3 companies that I ever started. And the first company I ever started, and I'm not embarrassed to say it, I was selling Halloween stuff like flashing vampire teeth and flashy gloves and all kinds of weird stuff. That was, from that, I learned a lot from that. I learned a ton from that. I learned that strategy and outward planning is most important. Okay, because if we don't strategize and plan for out years, notice I said years, I didn't say month, I said years. Plan for out years. Okay, because then that doesn't mean that plan doesn't shift. But now we're doing these small little inputs, right? The tactical piece of this is bigger, and that's going to give us more on the back end, more on the long term, versus, okay, focusing on the tactical and less strategic. What is this going to give you? A lot of freaking work. Okay, that's what it is. It's a lot of tactical work, and you're going to have less here. Okay, you might get some quick cash, but if you're running a business for quick cash, you're not running a business. That's a hobby. Okay, all right. You want sustainable growth, sustainable quarterly growth over the next 2 to 3 years. Okay, plan that out years. All right, this leads to third and fourth quarter becoming a lack of money. Okay, Why? Because you had all this tactical input up front. Okay, all these tactical things. Okay, that you should have been focusing on the strategic. Okay, so it's very important that for any business model, as the owner, CEO, owner, president, whatever the case may be, you focus on strategic. Okay, who's the best person to? Who is the best person that can sell a product in your company? Pretty easy question. You, right? I mean, you're the best person to do that. Okay. So, for example, I have my own referral agents in my company, and they go out and sell our services, blah 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 blah, right? And it's hard. It's hard for them. It's hard for them to do that. Why? Because they're a representative of the company. Where I can literally go downtown, have a conversation over coffee, so on and so forth with somebody, and it's easy. Why? I own the company. I am the owner of the company. You are the owner of your company. You are the best salesperson for your company, okay? Because you're the owner, all right? That doesn't mean get locked into some operational sales process yourself, but I'm just saying be the cheerleader, right? Be the cheerleader for your company. Be connected within your community. Be connected within, Chamber of Commerce, maybe your Rotary clubs, maybe your specific meetup groups. Give your time to go speak at meetup groups, so on and so forth. Okay. Maybe nothing comes of that right away, but what is that? What is that? That is strategical punch, right? Doesn't come today, but by God, mid, okay, quarter 3, and long term, quarter 4. These people become customers, clients. They like your services, they like your products, they pitch them for you, right? And now you're making money because you're the best cheerleader for your company. Okay, it's huge. It's huge. And I will tell you right now, I work with companies that are doing upwards of hundreds of millions of dollars a year, and they're not doing this. They're just not. I mean, they're just, and these are owner-controlled companies, not board-controlled companies. Okay, so it's just important that you know your role here. You have this directional focus, and you know that this is your profit growth factor. Okay, this is it right here. You need to focus right here on this strategic piece. It's your job. It is your job. If all of you, at a very, very bare minimum, okay, whether you call yourself a CEO, whatever the case may be, doesn't matter. Google responsibilities of a CEO. Okay, Google that, and I mean, there's tons and tons of places you can go and just pull basic responsibilities. Okay, they're all pretty much, for the most part, the same. Okay, pull that up. That's a good guide right there. Okay, to the responsibilities of what a CEO is supposed to do. And most of you, I would challenge to say that a lot of you are probably not following that. Okay, I mean, I have personal clients in my company that are, breaching Fortune 1000 list, and they're not following that. Okay, they're just not. Okay, what is a CEO's number one responsibility? What in your mind do you think that is? It's very simple. P&L. P&L management. Okay. If you don't know what a P&L is, that's a profit and loss statement. That is your guide. That's your North Star. That's what lets you know this month I can spend this much. Okay. I know I've got X amount sucked out for operational cost. My final GP is this. I have this top line revenue. And then at the end of it all, once it breaks out, I have a net income of yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. Okay. I get into all the numbers, but I'm not going to go there. This is your North Star report. If this is not right, you need to get it right. Okay. If you don't have a good bookkeeper, you need to get a good bookkeeper. Okay. If you need a good bookkeeper, I have several that do really good work and they can help you out. Very important that your P&L is straight. It is on target all the time. So around the 15th of every month, when I get my P&L report, I look over it and go, I can probably trim 2% off of that. I can probably trim some here, so on and so forth. Because you know what a failure company looks like? A company that's paying $1,800 for a phone service. And I'm only saying that because I just had a company. I went over their P&L. They were paying $1,800 a month for a phone service. I pay like $200 a month for phone, internet, and and TV for my company. There's no reason to be paying that kind of price for something like that. Now, maybe most of you aren't doing that, but I'm just saying there's a lot to be shed sometimes off of a P&L. And if you're not seeing it, you're not looking at it, it's the, see no evil, hear no evil, right? You can't operate a company that way. So pay very specific attention to that, right? So we want to focus, all of you need to focus here on spending your time tactically, spending your time strategically in your company, okay? Be the visionary, okay? If you're doing these 3 roles right now, that could be for many reasons. Maybe you're just not at that life cycle yet. Okay, that's okay for now. Okay, you're in that. I mean, just because a business has been around for 3 or 4 years, that you could still be a startup. Okay, and that's okay. Right? It's just growing yourself to the ability and doing all the right things in between to make sure you get where you need to go.